I remember when I was a little bit older, maybe when I was, I remember when I was maybe like 13 or so. And my uncle Sergio took me to New York City, the first time in New York City. And at that time I was into punk rock and I was very, anarchy driven, very anarchy driven. And so we went to New York and we did, went to Greenwich Village, went to a vegetarian restaurant, or at least it was a cafe that had vegetarian food. And my first time in a coffee shop, in New York, in Greenwich Village. And I remember all the punk rock stuff on the walls. I went to my first anarchist bookstore, and I got some literature, and all these other different things. Stickers and maybe might even got a Dead Kennedys album record or something like that. I do remember being in New York with him, and it was really neat, like walking through Manhattan, and there was an art exhibit on, and he wanted to take me to this art exhibit that was in the street art, and it was a glove. He showed me this glove. All these people were looking at this glove that was laying in the street like this, discarded glove, and there was all these little plaques also placed around there, and you could read them, and each one was a poem about this glove that was sitting on the sidewalk, And I'm thinking, this glove, someone's gonna take this glove, sweep it off the street or pick it up. And my uncle said, go pick it up. So I go to try, it's made of bronze, and it's, somehow mounted to the sidewalk. There's no way. If you hit it with your foot accidentally, you're gonna trip over it, They probably removed it because of a lawsuit or something like that. Who knows, right? So, but eventually, the culmination of the trip was we needed to go to Brooklyn. He needed to go to the Hare Krishna ashram, ISKCON ashram in Brooklyn, and pick up his effects, his clothes and things like that, because he was living there. And now I think he had moved to Philadelphia, so he needed to get his stuff and move to Philly and bring him to Philly. I went to the Hare Krishna ashram, and mind blown, right? Mind blown. It was just such a nondescript building, It looked like almost like not abandoned building, but industrial. It was very industrial. When you got in there, it was just like a hallway with all these shoes, lockers and shoes. It's just very industrial, or institutional. Ashrams are upstairs, and a temple was down the hall. My uncle said, "I'm gonna go check out the temple," And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna explore this place, It's really just vibe." I was very, young and inquisitive at that time, learning. So I go into the temple, this huge auditorium. And there wasn't nothing in the auditorium but like a stage that was closed. There's wooden doors closed. And a statue of Murti, I know now, but at the time it was a statue. Of Prabhupada. I just sat there next to Prabhupada and just stared at Prabhupada, stared at this. How lifelike. I've never seen anything so lifelike before, And, if I've been to the art museum, I've seen, Rodin statues and statues at the art museum, Greek statues and things like that. You see these statues and you're like, oh, these are really nice statues, But the Prabhupada Murti was just sitting there, and it was alive. You're just looking at it because you were waiting for it to move, to make a movement, something. And there was nobody else really in there, and flowers was around the flowers. Eventually, I heard the sound of the conch shell. And the doors opened up. Ding, 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 ding. Somebody's ringing a bell. Somebody's blowing on a conch shell, and they're dressed like proper monks, And I'm like, yo, the incense, fanning the deities. The deities are there. The deities look like they were made from solid gold. Again, I might have been 13, but I still didn't know what a deities was, and that it blew my mind, man. It blew my mind. I can't remember which sets of deities were there. You know, I know it was Radha and Krishna. And man, I was just in awe of that puja. You know, it was my very first puja, and it marked me. You know, for like, what is this all about? And now I went back to the book. You know, eventually when I went home, my uncle had given my father a Bhagavad Gita. And so it's like all the Vedas condensed, and give you everything you need to know about life, what the goal of life is, what everything you need to know. I'm telling you, this is the one thing. This is what all this will come back to this, because it circles back later on in my life. You know, just remember the Bhagavad Gita. I left that temple a changed person. I remember going downstairs in the cafeteria, you know, that they have in the temple, and I remember walking down these stairs, and there was like a bowl of grapes and some fruit. And I remember looking down at the food that was at my feet, and I'm thinking like, oh, the grapes look a little bit wilted, or you know, banana maybe a little brown, but it still looked really delicious. So my uncle grabbed some grapes and gave me half grapes, and I ate these grapes, and I'm going to tell you, they were the sweetest, bestest grapes I've ever had in my life. I still remember the taste of these grapes. It's weird how, you know, these things stick with you, eh? So then we go downstairs and we have some prasad. I remember it was like a school cafeteria. You get the tray, you go in, the guy serves you. We sat down and we eating, and when we were done, I noticed everybody was going to the sink, and spitting, rinsing their mouth out, spitting like 3 times into the sink, right? And I'm thinking this is weird. Like, they're rinsing their plate off, they're putting it down, and then they're washing their hands and spitting into the sink. I asked my uncle, what's this all about? You know, why are they spitting in the sink? Wash their mouth. Hey, it makes sense, right? You wash your mouth when you're done eating. But there's food that's still stuck on your teeth, your gums, your tongue, you know. Rinse 3 times, and it gets out the bulk of everything that's in there. You know, in the absence of brushing your teeth after every meal sounds like a good idea, but it's not practical, right? I mean, nowadays they do sell products that you know, you can floss with, you know, little disposable toothbrushes with the toothpaste built right in. You know, I'm sure they got a good dose of fluoride for you too, built right in on there. Rinse your mouth. I guess it really comes down to rinse your mouth. You know, after you eat. You know, if you smoke, after you do anything with your mouth, go to the sink and rinse your mouth out. I really can't stress enough the importance of this book right here. You know, the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I wonder if this is going to be a backwards to you. It's an amazing story. It's over 5,000 years old, and it basically tells the story of Krishna, who on the eve of battle is telling this secret of life to his friend and devotee. You know, it's got everything. You know, if you ever had a question regarding anything, you could be an atheist, you could be a Christian, you could be you know, a Muslim, you can be any religion. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This is a book that talks about when God was on earth, and he's telling this story. He's talking to his friend, and you're getting it straight. You know what I mean? Some good advice. So I started to look into this, you know, as a kid. And I still do, you know, and it's come back around. Even when I was just looking at it nonchalantly, philosophically, and then, you know, I came back to it later on in life, you know, and you come back to it, and, you know, you can really get into its meanings more, you know, Bhagavad Gita as it is, by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Check it, please. Read it, and then inquire from a bona fide source. All right, so more later. Hey, so after that, we'll see what we picked up when we come back from New York. You know, bye.
Like and subscribe so we can make more videos at home.
Like and subscribe.